Guys, how are we doing? And welcome back to another video. This is the Fighters Forecast. It is your boy Tenet speaking, and we are here to break down UFC Serbia headlining Uros Medic versus Daniel Rodriguez. Now, if you're watching this and you're like, why does this dude sound different? We got AirPods in this time. You guys gotta let me know if it's better or worse than the ones before. Also, your boy's a little bit sick, so the audio could be, a little bit different, like for my voice wise, because I am a little bit sick. But we're here, we're still grinding every Wednesday or Thursday, depending on how busy the schedule is. We're gonna put out a couple videos for you guys, our full card breakdown, and our hammer of the week. But this is UFC Serbia. This is supposed to be an absolute banger card with crazy matchups, lots of striking matchups as well, which is what the UFC fans want. For me, I'm more of a, I'm okay with the wrestling and jiu-jitsu, just not the nut hugging, you know what I mean? So, we're here. This is Uros Medic versus Daniel Rodriguez coming off a nasty knockout win against Jeff Neal, and Daniel Rodriguez coming out of a jail prison in Mexico. So yeah, two different trajectories as well, to be honest. Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, Uro's supposed to be the victory here, supposed to get the dub. But D Rod's on a 3-fight win streak. He's still cooking in the lab against some mid-level comp. But we'll get to that when we need to. But let's take a look back last week on how we did, and we did absolutely superb. We only got one fight wrong in the entire card of the UFC Abu Dhabi card. We had Dustin Jacoby as the only fight wrong against Naimov. He had a beautiful right cross, like a head kick, just put Jacoby out cold, and that combo would put anybody out cold. So we got that one wrong, but we got 12 fights right, one wrong. Take that every single day of the week. But this is UFC Serbia, Uros Medic versus Daniel Rodriguez, and like always, we start from the bottom to the top. First fight of the night, we are starting with Jovan Leka against Alexander Popek. And guys, you may be like, who the fuck are these guys? And that's exactly what I asked myself as well. I'm like, who the fuck are these guys? Because they've never been in the UFC before. I know Jovan Leka a little bit better than Popek because I watched his Dana White Contender Series fight. He got the victory in that matchup. He just didn't impress the boss enough to get a contract here. Alexander Popek, I did some research. This guy is a 205 fighter in the light heavyweight weight class, but he's stepping up on short notice here to fight Jovan Leka to try and get himself in the UFC. But this guy is a 205er, so he's not going to be cutting weight. He's going to look a bit bloated here. And Jovan Leka is absolutely massive for this division. I think he's 6'5", 265. He kind of has that Tom Aspinall build, you know what I mean? Like, just thick. Not in the gay way, but very thick, just down the entire body. Alexander Popek looks better. I don't know how he's going to look at 205. Or, sorry, at 265. But at 205, he is pretty deezed. He is pretty toned. So I am curious what he looks like at 265 here. But if we take these skill sets here, Jovan Leka, is the better wrestler in this matchup. He has the better cardio by far in this matchup. And Jovan Leka, he is good with the fight IQ as well. And what I mean by that, but after watching tape, Jovan Leka knows where to go with the fight depending on how it's going. You know what I mean? If the guy's good at wrestling, Jovan's going to stand. And if he sees a hole in his game in the wrestling, I think he's going to shoot and he's going to do ground and pound and try and go for submissions on the fighter here. So I like his fight IQ, especially here as a UFC debutant. He's already won on the Dana White Contender Series program, I guess you could say. Popek lost on the program. And you may go, who did he lose to? Jamal Hill. So there's no slouch in that. Even though everyone knows I'm not a Jamal Hill fan, losing to Jamal Hill in the Contender Series of a couple of years ago is no slouch. It is what it is. I'm not going to hold him accountable for that. But Popek, he has one round of cardio, in my opinion. Popek has decent striking, not so great takedown defense. So I think Jovan Leka leans into the takedown defense here, gets the ground and pound off on Alexander Popek, and he wins this fight by decision or in round 2 by KO. So give me Jovan Leka here to win this matchup. I think he's too big for Popek. I think he's too smart for Popek, and he has the better cardio as well with the better wrestling. A lot of pluses on the Leka side. We're gonna take him here in the first fight of the night. Next fight, we have Mateusz Rambecki against Kyle Prepolek. Guys, I'm a big Mateusz Rebecki guy. I'm not going to lie to you, man. This guy fights with absolute ill intent to take your head off. This guy fights. He does not care what's coming back at him. He's going to come forward. He's going to unload the clip into your headpiece. You know, I think he fights like there's only 2 rounds in the fight. His third round is normally crap. Like he kind of just gasses and he's just tired and he's throwing all his strikes he can and try to go for all the submissions and wrestling opportunities he can. Mateusz Rebecki is an absolute marauder. He is a killer, and he'll come at you just throwing every single combination he can. Kyle Prepolek, this guy's had 2 stints in the UFC and he's failed both times here. This is his third fight in the second stint against Mateusz Rambecki, and he's just not going to win. Kyle Prepolek has decent stand-up here. Stand-up maybe can be better than Mateusz Rambecki with a technical standpoint. But if Rebecki just runs at him and starts throwing and clinching against the fence and getting takedowns here, it's free real estate all the way there. Prepolek, maybe technically, if they both stand at range, he's a tad bit better. But in the wrestling, it's not close. Rebecki's better. In the pressure, Rambecki's better. The cardio, Rambecki's better. I think Rambecki knocks this guy out or submits him in the second or third round. Give me Mateusz Rambecki. No, you know what? Second round, KO or submission. Next fight, we have Bogdangrad against Denis Brzuka. This is actually a banger of the night, in my opinion. This could be fight of the night. Bogdangrad always comes in here and he tries to absolutely just kill you. He has that samurai, mindset, kill or be killed. Bogdangrad coming off a couple losses, but to top comp. Luke Riley is a very, very good fighter, in my opinion. There's no shame to hold your head against losing to Luke Riley. Bogdangrad here has decent striking, but where I think he excels in this matchup is the takedowns, is the wrestling. I don't believe Denis Brzuka is better than Bogdangrad in the wrestling. So if Grad has good fight IQ, he takes the fight down to the ground. He works for ground and pound. He works for submissions here, and he subs Denis Brzuka. Brzuka is a little bit better on the feet, very little, in my opinion. I think he has the crisper 1-2 down the pipe. I think he has better head movement as well because Bogdangrad is pretty stationary. But if Bogdangrad shows his good fight IQ, he can take this fight down to the ground. He can work for a ground and pound or a submission. I just can't I can't trust his fight IQ right now. I haven't seen it. You know what I mean? Because he is standing with Luke Riley. Even though he tried to take him down in the first round, he didn't do it in the second round and got put out cold. I don't trust Bogdangrad here, but I'm going to take him in this matchup and pick him. Next fight, we have Baby Boy Mark Vologden against Borislav Nikolov. Baby Boy Mark Vologden. You may be like, why the fuck you call him Baby Boy? Look at this guy. Look at this guy. He looks like he's 14 years old and that he's in like grade 8. He's 5'3", 135 pounds. He is Baby Boy to me. And yes, he'd still probably fuck my shit up. So I gotta kind of chillax here. But Mark Vologden, this guy never has a boring fight. And if you look up the name Mark Vologden, you look at the Contender Series fights he's had, it's just been wars. It's literally just been wars. This guy gets hit a crap ton here. And he's fighting Borislav Nikolov here, one of the biggest bantamweights I've laid my eyes on. I think he's 5'11", 135. Mark Vologden's 5'3", 135. You know what I mean? So that is just nuts to think about. You guys are going to see this at the weigh-ins. They're going to be standing there. Nikolic's going to be like looking down at him like this. Like it's going to be nuts. Nikolic's the better striker here for sure. He finds the home more. He has better output and volume in the striking alone. But if Mark Vologden shoots takedowns and has good fight IQ here, he can sneak out a close decision, in my opinion. If Mark Vologden chooses to wrestle here and take Nikolic down and kind of just ground and pound, position over submission, lay on him, get him down there, just tire him out, he can win this fight. But I don't believe Mark Vologden wants to do that, and I don't think he will. I think he's going to try and stand here and get absolutely knocked silly. I'm going to go Borislav Nikolov in this matchup by KO or decision. Next fight, we have the General, Michael Oliveira against Oban Elliott. Michael Oliveira was a guy I watched on the Contender Series last year, and I was pretty impressed with his performance, to be honest. I've heard a lot of, buzz around this guy. It's like, oh, he's not even that good. What makes you think he's not that good? Because he can't finish the guy in the first round? He could have. He just chose to get more experience, more time in the octagon, to pick his shots better. And I think he looked great doing it, man, in the Contender Series. Now, he didn't make my list of the top 10 prospects, but he's definitely a top 15, top 20 prospect, in my opinion here. Michael Oliveira has great striking. He's got great leg kicks, and everybody here knows I'm a sucker for the great leg kicks, man. If you can chop the tree of your opponent, man, it just absolutely nullifies their movement, and it makes them half the fighter they are. And I think Michael Oliveira has the tools here to beat Oban Elliott. The problem here could be Oban Elliott's wrestling. Now you may go, the fuck is this guy talking about, man? Oban Elliott got fucking ragdolled by Jonathan Mikalev in the grappling. Yes, he did. But Jonathan Mikalev is a way better grappler than Michael Oliveira. He'd take him down and sub him within a round, in my opinion here. Oban Elliott's wrestling is a tad bit better than Michael Oliveira, but it's not going to play dividends in this matchup, in my opinion here, because Oban Elliott has the most delusional brain I've ever seen in my life. He thinks he's going to be the greatest champ ever eventually. You know, we got a couple losses back to back, and it is what it is. But Michael Oliveira is going to come in here. He's going to pick his shots correctly. He's going to pick his shots well, and he's going to knock this dude out. Give me Michael Oliveira in this matchup. Next fight, we have Ludovic Klein against Tafik Musayev. This could be a banger of the night, in my opinion here. Ludovic Klein, one of my favorite guys to watch, in my opinion here. He's very complete everywhere. The guy has grit that is just, you can't teach that. Ludovic Klein, I'm going to put this in perspective for you guys. Ludovic Klein won his last matchup with a broken ankle. He was fighting Mateusz Rebecki in his last matchup here with a broken ankle in the third round, and he did not quit. He was on the ground, still trying to throw up elbows, still trying to get Mateusz Rebecki out of there, and he was just doing his thing, man. He won the first 2 rounds fair and square. I think he kicked Rebecki's shin, and his ankle snapped, and he had to go to the ground and fight from there. But that shows you the dog of Ludovic Klein here, and he's taking on Tafik Musayev, the cheater Tafik Musayev. If you look back, Ignacio Bahamondes was in my Hammer of the Week probably about a year ago or so. He was in my Hammer of the Week, and Tafik Musayev full-on cheated in that matchup. He grabbed the fence 3 times, hit him in the nuts 1 time. Tafik Musayev is a dirty cheater, man, and I really, really wish there was a different ref in there that would take points away from him for doing that crap. And if he does it here again, I'm going to fly to fucking Azerbaijan and take this dude out myself. Obviously, I get fucking chinned and put flattened on my back if I ever try to go against this guy. But Tafik Musayev is a cheater. He is not better than Ludovic Klein in the striking, and he is not better than Ludovic Klein on the ground. I promise you, both those things are correct here. Ludovic Klein is the more complete fighter. He is better in every aspect of MMA. He's fought the high level of competition here, and I'm pretty confident that he gets this fight done. Next fight, we have Milos Janicic against Noah Gugnon. This is going to be a banger fight. This is one of the fight of the nights as well. And I've said that a couple times here, guys, because some of these fights are absolutely insane. You know what I mean? These dudes are here to strike. This is not going to be a wrestling card, in my opinion. Milos Janicic has 19 wins, all 19 coming by finish. The guy throws a crazy amount of output. He gets the jab out there, and then he comes across with a hook, and he'll get a bow going. The guy is nasty on the feet. He has impressive volume as well, and he loves to throw the jab out there to try and annoy his opponents. But Noah Gugnon is more complete, in my opinion, than Milos Janicic. Noah Gugnon, in my opinion, has the more diverse striking. He has the better grappling here if he wants to take Milos down. But I think he's better on the feet as well. Now, I don't think he's going to have the output advantage, but the power is going to be there. The technical aspect of striking is going to be on Noah Gugnon's side here. The dexterity of the strikes is a nice leg kick that put on Milos Janicic here. I think Gugnon, if he wants to wrestle, he can, and that's the easiest way to beat this guy. But I also believe he has success striking here, so I'm going to go with the underdog and Noah Gugnon here. But both these guys are UFC debuts, so we actually don't really know. But from what I've watched, the tape I've studied, Noah Gugnon, in my opinion, is the better fighter, and I think he wins this fight by KO or sub. Next fight, we have Vlasto Seppo against Gilbert Urbina. This is going to be a killer fight as well. Vlasto Seppo comes out with his hands like this. He sprints to the center of the octagon, and he just go crazy, and he starts throwing hooks. And then he'll grab you, and he'll take a couple of breaths. And then he'll go again. He'll break off, and he'll start throwing hooks again. This is one of the craziest motherfuckers you will ever see step into the UFC. He has no technique whatsoever. He has no grappling whatsoever. He is there to take your head off. He is there to hunt you down. Vlasto Seppo is round 1 or bust. So if you're going to play him by round 1. I looked at the number. It wasn't even good. It was like minus 170 Vlasto Seppo by KO in round 1. Vlasto Seppo was no ground game here. So if Gilbert Urbina has good fight IQ, he takes his fight down to the ground and he tries to wrestle and grapple him. You know what I mean? And I think he has success. But I don't think Gilbert Urbina has good fight IQ. I think Vlasto Seppo is going to have his way in Serbia. He's going to stand in the middle of the octagon. He's going to throw his hooks. And one's eventually going to land in the first round. I have Vlasto Seppo by round 1 knockout. Moving on to the main card, we have Dusko Todorovic against Robert Valentine. Dusko Todorovic coming off a couple losses in the UFC. I think he's 2 of 3 in his last 5. Coming off a win, but before that, 3 losses in a row. Dusko Todorovic is not a bum, though, but he's not great. You know what I mean? He's in that middle level. This is a perfect matchup. Both these guys are decent. They're not terrible. They're not bad. They're both decent here. Dusko Todorovic, in my opinion, has good hands. I like Dusko Todorovic's hands. He hits hard. He has nice, diverse strikes, and it's in Serbia. You have to remember this, man. It's in Serbia. But Robert Valentine is better on the ground, in my opinion, coming off a win against an absolute regional bum can fool and Julian LeBlanc. Just an absolute bum clown fool. You know what I mean? So I can't put any stock in that win whatsoever here. Robert Valentine, he looked good in that matchup, but fuck. I could look good in that matchup. That Julian LeBlanc, you may as well go fucking find some guy off the Montreal streets and say, hey, do you want to fight for 20K? Fuck. I bet you they did, and that's how they found that guy. The guy's trash. He should never be back in the UFC ever again. So I can't put any stock in that win here. But Valentine's better on the ground, so I think if Valentine's smart, he strikes for a little bit. I'm not saying he's a bum on the feet. I guess he has good striking as well, in my opinion. But I believe Dusko has a little bit of a better striking output and dexterity in his strikes. But Robert Valentine's grappling, in my opinion, takes the edge here. They're going to be striking for a bit. I think Robert's going to realize, fuck, this is closer than I want it to be. I'm going to shoot a takedown. I'm going to try and sub this guy. And I think he does exactly that. He takes him down. He subs him. Give me Robert Valentine in this matchup. Next fight, we have Marcin Tybura against Alexander Rakic. Alexander Rakic hasn't won a fight in 5 years. But that was at 205. He's now at 265. And this guy at 205, I think he was probably the biggest motherfucker I've ever laid my eyes on at 205. I think he's 6'5", 205, but he was yoked. Like, it was scary. It didn't translate. He was fighting killers like Magomed Ankalaev, like Mirzakhanov, like Khalil Roundtree, like Yuri Prohaska. Those are his last 4 fights, and you may go, oh, that's why he hasn't won. Fuck, exactly. He's fighting Marcin Tybura here, a fat schlob, bum, blob, heavyweight. The guy's fatter than can be at 265. Rakic has more power. Rakic has the better strikes on the feet for sure. And he has a mean, disgusting calf kick that's going to make Marcin Tybura go, oh, fuck, get me out of here, bro. You know what I mean? Tybura has the better wrestling, in my opinion, here. But that's about it. And if he can't get that takedown, he is getting knocked out here. I am going to go Alexander Rakic by finish in this match. I think it's plus 130. Pretty decent odds, in my opinion. Alexander Rakic by finish is my prediction here. I think he looks good in his heavyweight debut, and he gets Marcin Tybura out of there. Next fight, we have Jan Blachowicz, 43-year-old Unk, against Navajo Sterling. Jan Blachowicz was supposed to be fighting Bogdan Guskov in this matchup here, but Guskov got moved to the Ankalaev card, where he laid an absolute egg because he sucks. Guys, I told you guys in that Hammer of the Week, I promise you Bogdan Guskov is not winning this matchup. He did not throw anything. He circled around. He ran away from Ankalaev the whole fight. He didn't do anything. He didn't throw anything. He didn't do anything. He should not be put back in the main event until he wins a couple more fights here. He seems scared of Magomed. And you may go, oh, it's because Magomed's boring. Well, so is Guskov, bro. What was he doing? You're literally just there sitting, running away, backing up the entire time. It made no sense to me whatsoever. You're there in a main event, and you want to just sit back, and your coaches are encouraging it. They go, oh, you don't got to chase him. You're good. Buddy, you're down 3-0 on the scorecards. The fuck do you mean you don't have to chase him? Of course you got to chase him, you fool, or else you're going to lose a decision. The coaches should be absolutely fired in that matchup. I was watching on the TV. I was smiling ear to ear because that was the last leg of the Hammer of the Week. And I knew from those first couple rounds, Bogdan wasn't doing shit. But back to this fight, we have Jan Blachowicz against Navajo Sterling here. Jan Blachowicz, this guy is a staple in the 205 division. This guy has great leg kicks, which I like. He's got nice boxing technique, power. The speed is, becoming less, but he has the power. He has the nice leg kicks here. He's got the better wrestling in this matchup here. But he's just fighting youth. He's just fighting youth in Navajo Sterling here. Sterling on an absolute tear recently, ranked number 15. Navajo Sterling is faster in the boxing, but they fight similarly. You know what I mean? They both kind of feint their body movement to try and make the other react. But I think a key here is going to be Jan Blachowicz' leg kicks. If Navajo Sterling doesn't get tied up by those quick, he's better. He's going to be better on the feet, faster. He'll try and go in and out of the pocket really quick with his nice 1-2. Navajo Sterling, his fight IQ was a little bit weird in the last fight. He kept trying to get subbed by Eon, in my opinion. But I think Navajo Sterling, plays that little in and out game with his youth, with his speed, and he gets there, bang bang, and he gets out, goes back, hook, bang bang, gets out. You know what I mean? So I think Navajo Sterling here wins this fight by decision. I don't think he's knocking out Jan Blachowicz here. I'm going Navajo. Next fight is the main event of the night. We have the Doctor Uros Medic against Daniel Rodriquez. Guys, I put a tweet out after Uros Medic knocked out Jeff Neal, and the caption was, "The Doctor has pulled the plug." I think it got like 100,000 likes. I think everyone liked that saying, which was pretty cool. Uros Medic is an absolute killer on the feet, and he is the definition of kill or be killed. Uros Medic comes out and he tries to take your head off. The guy has some of the nastiest hooks I've ever seen in the 170 division. The power this guy generates from the hooks is absolutely wild. He's got nice body work as well, good boxing combinations, and he's fighting D-Rod here, a guy who got locked up for bringing weed across the border. And it was very interesting here because D-Rod brought it over the border. I think he stood there for about 8 months in the Mexican prison, Daniel Rodriquez. But they treated him chill, you know what I mean? Because they found out who the fuck this guy was, and they're probably like, well, fuck, I don't want to pick a fight with this guy. So apparently he got like tons of like playtime, you could say, and I don't know what they call it in jail. He was still training and he was still fighting there. Getting his reps in. Got some good food. So it kind of really wasn't a jail. It was kind of vacation for Daniel Rodriquez here, but Daniel Rodriquez coming off of 3 wins in a row, but they're the absolute bums. And you may go, oh, Kevin Holland's not a bum. Yes, he is. Kevin Holland sucks. Kevin Holland is some of the most 50-50 person I've ever seen in my life. This guy either looks like a word killer or he looks like a bum. And against Daniel Rodriquez about a year ago, he looked like a bum. And man, Kevin Holland's fucked me so many times. I loved it that D-Rod beat him, man. I loved it, man. But he's not beating Uros Medic here. Uros Medic is going to knock this guy out in the first round. I think the speed is on Medic. The power is on Medic. The youth is on Medic. Medic is just the best. This is not going to be a wrestler's matchup, in my opinion. Unless D-Rod's went to friggin' Dagestan 2-3 years and forgets, and now he's grappling. This is going to be a striker's delight here. Uros Medic is going to knock this guy out early, in my opinion. And I'm taking Uros Medic by KO. Guys, that is the full card breakdown here. I hope you've enjoyed. Hopefully it made you some nice money, guys. So some nice picks and predictions. You can make your full card lays. Please like and subscribe if you are new. It would mean the world to me. And so I'm just doing this for some fun, guys, because I feel like I know UFC pretty well. And I just want to give you guys some better insights of the fights coming up this weekend here. So please like and subscribe and comment if you're new, man. And I will see you for the hammer of the week. Peace.